What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. It is Sunday morning. We are fresh off UFC 310. In this episode of Over the Octagon, we're going to give you all of our thoughts and our recap on UFC 310 between Pantoja, Asakura, Ian Garry, Shavkhat Rakhmonov. We're going to dive into all the different matchups, talk about the performance bonuses, what we thought about the fights, what's next for some of the fighters, how we saw the event go. What do we think is next? They faced off Belal and Shavkhat in the octagon. Pantoja calls out Demetrious Johnson after his win. Demetrious Johnson had some thoughts after hearing this. Dana, open to it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about everything. If you're not already, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It helps us a ton. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and like the video. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the love and support recently. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, don't forget, turn on automatic downloads. Never miss another episode. See y'all on the next one, baby. Peace.
Blood is on the steeple. There's murder on my mind. Guiding all the people to a pretty suicide. I want to live forever. Live forever. I'm hiding from the sun. I can't fucking wait. I don't want to spend my life with you. I don't want to do the things you do. I just want to castle in the darkness and never lose my youth. Never lose my youth. Strange things are coming. At night I feel alive. There's no sense in running. We're living just to die.
This is Over the Octagon. Welcome to the shit show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Over the Octagon. UFC 310 was last night. The boys had a time, as you can tell. Everybody's celebrating. Overall, solid card, boys.
Very solid card.
Yeah, dude, it was sick.
And I think, it definitely got hyped up. And the main event, I feel like, was slept on in this fight.
Yeah. I think he got overshadowed by the co-main, but ended up being, they both were bangers.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison to the co-main event, I think the main event really got slept on, and Pantoja delivered. I mean, Pantoja showed why, you really shouldn't, I guess, sleep on the 125ers. You know what I mean?
Or sleep on the UFC.
Yeah, there we go.
You've seen it, dude. We've seen it so many times. We've seen it so many times. And we've seen it again last night, right? Like, you're a rising champion, a PFL champion, a belt. Come on, man. It's a totally different ball game when you get in the UFC.
Yeah, it's a different game, man. I'm wondering if Pantoja is the most underrated fighter in the fucking UFC right now. I mean, after last night, I hope not. I hope people respect him now, but Jesus, dude.
Hey, man, put him in. If he doesn't move up in that top pound-for-pound ranking, the rankings are garbage, dude.
Yeah, so, I mean, right now he's the 11th ranked pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah,
Leon Edwards is ahead of him. Volk is still ahead of him.
No.
I mean,
call me
so
crazy, but he should be at like number 5.
So that puts him ahead of DDP, Merab, and Tom Aspinall.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and Belal.
He's a dominant champion, man. He's a dominant champion. He might be the most dominant champion in the UFC right now.
He has 3 title defenses, correct?
4. That was number 4, I think.
No, that was his 3rd defense. That was his 4th title fight, right? He won the title.
Beat Moreno, beat Pantoja, or beat
Royval,
beat Urseg, beat Asakura, and
he beat Moreno for the belt. So this was his 3rd defense, 4th title fight, 3rd defense. I mean, I will say I agree with one thing you started to say, but I do think, I don't know about most underrated fighter, but he's by far the most underrated champion.
Yeah.
There we go.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, Merab hyped up, Tapourier obviously hyped up, Alex Pereira hyped up, DDP more hype. I mean, I guess you could say Belal, but I don't think I would call Belal underrated. I think he's properly
Security
rated.
didn't know he was the champ.
Islam, Islam, John
That was
Jones,
the thing of the
Valentina.
night, bro. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think Pantoja is by far the most underrated champion the UFC has, and at the same time being the most dominant. Right, Tapourier has one title defense, Merab has none. Islam's got a few, but two of them came against somebody not in his division.
Yeah.
Right, came against a featherweight. Belal has none. DDP has one. Pereira is getting up there, right? Pereira has right around the same number as Pantoja, but I mean, John Jones has one. Maybe Zhang Weili, but now you're getting into women's MMA. I mean, Pantoja really sneakily has become one of, if not the most dominant champions in the UFC, and everybody slept on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Short hair Pantoja,
Because nobody
man.
appreciates the flyweight division, man. And
Why
it's
do you
actually
think
kinda
that
crazy.
is?
I don't understand why it is, dude. Because even in wrestling, Nick knows this, dude. The most exciting wrestlers are the smaller divisions because they are just the scrambles. They go at it. Like it's so fun to watch. Like
For sure.
do we just want to sit there and watch 155ers hold dicks all day, or do we want to see Pantoja and Asakura go at it like Roy Val and Tatsuri Taira? Like those fights were bangers, dude.
They are. They always are. I mean, think about
flyweight gets slept on, dude.
And think about the guys in the flyweight division and the type of shows that they put on. Brandon Moreno, allergic to bad fights.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Allergic to bad fights.
Yeah. Kai
Even Roy Val,
France.
it's hard to put a
Kai Car France goes to war. Dude.
Yeah, Kai France, dude. Like, he goes out there, knocks out Steve Erceg, Tatsui Taira.
Yep.
Like, I just, I mean, Steve Erceg, right before his title shot, when he flatlined, who did he flatline? Matt Schnell?
Matt Schnell, yeah.
I mean, dude, like, you got these guys in the top of the flyweight division that they're always exciting fights. I don't understand. And, a reporter in the I don't know if you guys watched any of the post-fight press conference last night.
No, I did not.
After the event. So I turned it on my TV, shut the computer down, turned the TV. I put YouTube on the TV, watched Dana's post-fight press conference. And they were asking him about the co-main event and specifically, I guess, how stacked the whole card was.
Yeah.
And if he felt like he did that because this event was following a John Jones event and, like Pantoja not being this whatever draw. And what was interesting is the question right before this, the guy was asking him if Pantoja is the greatest flyweight of all time.
No.
So his answer is, how are you going to tell me that, Pantoja is not a big headliner, quote unquote, but a question before this guy's asking me if he's the greatest of all time. Right? It seems to be like what are we talking about? I feel like there's
get Dana to say some shit. They try to get him to fuck up.
But I feel like there's just this narrative about the flyweight division that it's not a draw when I don't think that that's the case at all.
You want me to tell you this is what I kind of think. I'm sitting here thinking about it more. I think that one Mighty Mouse's trade fucked up the representation of the flyweight division, and I think women's flyweight makes men's flyweight look bad.
Oh man, it went stale. I think during Moreno and Figueiredo.
Yeah,
I think it went stale because it was hot for a minute. These were the fastest guys on the planet, but I think after that it went stale too. So I don't know, man.
I agree. I think the trade made it like trading Demetrius Johnson to ONE FC, for Napoleon Dynamite, really like it just created this. Ben Askren. It just created this. That created the narrative that like we don't value flyweights, right? Because then what did Ben Askren do in the UFC? Literally nothing, not a single thing. He gave us a highlight by getting knocked out. but that's it, right? So, like, I think that trade undervalued the flyweight division, and that narrative is carried still. It's still to this day, like, we think that we have to stack, like, reporters are asking questions that we have to stack UFC 310 because the flyweight title with Pantoja is not a big enough fight. And, I like that they stacked the card, don't get me wrong, but
Sure.
I would watch Pantoja fight anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Anytime.
100% agree. And I would have been honestly mad if I had to watch Belal Shavkhat as the main event over Pantoja Asakura last night. Like, I felt like the card placement was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would have been the co-main. They would have been the co-main
for sure.
had it not been. But I think them being the main event was perfect.
I agree. And then, so let's talk about the fight itself, right? So Pantoja, Kai Asakura, obviously second round submission. Pantoja
sleep.
He did. He put him to sleep. But Kai Asakura is definitely legit.
Oh yeah, man. I think he's definitely a
quick.
top 5 fighter in that. Like, I want to see him versus Kai Kara France. I think that'd be an
I want to
awesome
see him
fight.
versus Brandon Royval right now.
Oh, for real?
Striker versus striker. I think that is going to be a badass fight.
Yeah.
I think they got to give him kind of an easier fight, though. I think they got to give him a
You don't give him an easier fight when you get a championship fight in your first fight, dude. You don't just get to lose your championship fight and then go fight number 15.
Well,
Five.
And that's what they did for Usyk, right? Like, Usyk was 10, they gave him a championship, he lost, and then they gave him Kai Kara France. So I feel like it'd be kind of disrespectful to Kai Kara France to give him two guys coming off with title losses.
Yeah, I think Kai Kara France gets the title fight next, and then I think Asakura fights Brandon Royval as the number 1 contender.
I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do for a title fight next.
Or Tatsuri Taira versus Asakura.
Yeah, in Japan.
In Japan, that'd be
fucking huge, dude. Tatsui Taira versus Kai Asakura in Japan next year. So that is the other thing. Like, obviously with him coming from Ryzen to the UFC, Dana White did say last night also, like, they are planning to go to Japan.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Whether
that was like a deal they got, like
whether he won or lost, they were planning on going to Japan. I think if you put 2 Japanese fighters in the main event, that would be massive. That would be massive.
Fight night in Japan, headlined by Asakura, Tatsuri Taira.
But second round submission. But he definitely showed that he belonged. We said it last night as we were watching the fights all together. Like, during that first round, you can see, oh, he's fucking good. You can tell he was cracking Pantoja, and truthfully, that knee that he hit Pantoja with, if it was anybody else, they might be knocked out. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Pantoja has a rock solid chin, dude.
It was like
good standing up too.
He is the toughest motherfucker, dude.
It was the same kind of fight as like O'Malley Cheeto, right? Like, Cheeto absorbed that crazy knee. That I think if it was anybody else, they're going to sleep.
Yep.
There's just something different. And so, like, I think Pantoja's the same way. If that was anybody else, they're going to sleep. And then if that were the case, we'd be having an entirely different conversation today.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts, man.
Imagine he goes out there flying knee and just sleeps him.
People would be saying this dude's the best ever.
People would be like, F Mighty Mouse, this guy's the GOAT.
He's the beast,
this
dude.
guy.
Right. So, he definitely had flashes of greatness, so to speak, and I agree with Nick. I think he belongs in the top 5.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe Tatsui Taira as the 5th-ranked flyweight in Japan next year, that would be fucking epic. And then I don't know what's next for Pantoja. Like, Brandon Royval makes the most sense. He's coming off the win over Tatsui Taira. But
it is confirmed Mighty Mouse is not coming back.
Right, so Mighty Mouse, obviously for anybody that didn't watch or pay close attention with some of the things that happened after the fight last night, Pantoja called out Demetrius Johnson after
As he
his
should.
fight. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that was a great call out. Who else is he going to call out as the champion, as a, 3-time defending champion? He's going to call for a rematch against somebody like that wouldn't really hit the same. So he calls out, the undisputed flyweight GOAT at the moment. Recent retirement, but like, yo, let's figure it out. Let's figure out who's the best. But yeah, Demetrius. So what Joel's talking about, Demetrius Johnson went on Twitter last night and said, I'll paraphrase because I don't have it in front of me, but guys, I turned down $2 million for a fight. I'm done. He's not interested. No matter what, he's not interested.
What if we see Merab beat Umar and then we see Pantoja put a little pounds on and go up and fight Merab?
Pantoja's so small, man.
Yeah,
but
Merab's not big though.
I hope he doesn't do that.
I don't know. Like at some point, there's not going to be
not
anything.
Big. And if you want to be the best flyweight, what did Henry Cejudo do?
Right.
He went up a weight division and won back double champ.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pride thing. Maybe Pantoja's like, I want to be marked as the best flyweight of all time. And he even said last night in the press conference when they interviewed him that he ranked Demetrius Johnson as number 1, Henry Cejudo as number 2, and himself as number 3. Maybe it's a pride thing to him. Maybe he does want to go up and become a double champ possibly and solidify himself as the greatest flyweight of all time.
I think his call out of Mighty Mouse definitely lets people know like it's not about money. It's not like he is about legacy. Like he wants to be the best. He wants to be the best ever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and at some point there's going to be nothing left for him to do except that.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Right?
I mean, say he fights Kai Kara France and beats Kai Kara France. I mean, then what? I mean, then really what? There is nothing.
It's just going to be rematches. It's going to be rematches with Moreno, Royval, Kai Kara France. Maybe if Tatsui Taira gets a top-ranked win sometime, Amir Albazi. Like Amir Albazi has to be, getting close in that conversation.
I mean, not after his last fight.
Right. Yeah.
Brandon Moreno beat the piss out of him.
Beat the fucking shit out of him. We need some more talent
that
in
was
there,
weird, man. Yeah,
that's why it gets a bad rap. Exactly what you just said, Nick. They need more talent. But if the crazy thing is, Nick, is there is talent, dude. They just fucking fight each other all the time, bro.
All the time. They've all fought each other, dude. Every single one of them has fought each other. It's fucking nuts, dude.
Everybody in that top 5, dude, is top level talent.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Damn.
So you really need a surging contender to kind of,
which they've tried twice
up.
now, and it didn't work.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you're really looking at kind of more of the long game, right? Like not giving the 10th ranked guy a title shot, not giving a, UFC debuter a title shot, but you need somebody to kind of work their way up through the rankings and make it happen. But I don't see that. We saw Josh Van beat Cody Durden last night, beat the brakes off Cody Durden. Sorry to you Georgia boys, but he looked ass. But like even Josh Van's not at that level yet.
No. Josh Van's like top 15.
He will be now. So, I mean, he beat Cody Durden. Cody Durden was 14. I would expect, Josh Van to be ranked after, on Tuesday when new rankings come out.
I mean, you do have this Alimbayov guy, the fucking
from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan guy.
Great. Fucking great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's rising up.
Yeah. He lost. Didn't he lose his Oh no, that's somebody different. Okay. Yeah, so he's 4-0 in the UFC. Yeah. Yeah. But again, man, a 21-2, 4-0 in the UFC. 3 decisions though, 1 submission against Oday Osborne. I don't know. I mean, there's just nobody right now. Not to say that, like you said, Joel. Not to say that the division doesn't have talent, but there's nobody in that division.
rising star, and the 3 that tried didn't make it past the top 3.
Who's Asu Almabayev?
That's who he's talking about. Almabayev. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's interesting is what
it.
you said last night, man. I agree. Is Tatsui Taira really fucked this whole thing up.
Yeah, he fucked it
Yeah,
up, dude.
he
If
did,
he would have
dude.
won, this would have been a whole different
Yeah,
main event last night. Everything would have been different.
Tatsuro Taira, we really needed to beat Brandon Royval, because if that
Yeah.
had happened, then even if you gave Kai Asakura the title shot in a debut, and then you gave Tatsuro Taira like an extended camp, so to speak, you still get a new contender. You have a new number one contender in Taira, and with him losing to Brandon Royval, you're just gonna get the same recycled rematches that has been happening in the flyweight division now for years.
And then the crazy thing is, though, is if Pantoja loses to any of them, he's got 2 wins over all of them, essentially, really. So it's like you get another rematch, and you just go into the just a rotation of bullshit,
Yeah,
fucked,
we
man.
need. I like the fact that they tried to go with
Asakura.
You had to, right? So now you're looking to do that again. It sounds crazy, but there is a. I'm gonna pull his name up for you guys now.
Oh, some new talent. That's what I was over here thinking. I was like, is there anybody else that's not in the UFC that is maybe eyed enough to fight?
Yeah, we just tried that last night.
I got to do it again.
So
Yeah, his name's Muhammad Makayev, and they cut him.
He was right. He was a rising star. I think Muhammad Kai was undefeated, man.
He was undefeated.
Yeah, like that's a crazy cut though. There's something behind the scenes with that because that's a crazy cut.
Yeah, it is a wild cut.
I think he hates America or something. Because
Don't piss off Dana White.
yeah, he did something.
yeah, I mean,
That's a crazy cut.
yeah, it is. So let me ask you this, because it's tough though, man. I mean, there are some guys, they just need to start signing some of these guys into the UFC ASAP and giving them fights ASAP. So we just recently watched him dominate in Cage Fury, but Belal Hassan, undefeated prospect, flyweight. I mean, and everybody he seems to fight regionally, he beats the fuck out of. Like, that's a guy that, like, you just need to start getting these guys in the UFC. Like, just get them in the UFC now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no time for this. There's no time for, you got to start getting some guys high-level competition and see what happens. But that's a name, he's 5-0, though, right? So 5-0 professional,
Got a long
fresh.
way to go, though.
Yeah, but, I mean, fuck it, dude. Bo Nickel did it. You see guys come into the Contender Series.
That's
Give him a Contender Series fight, right?
Yeah,
give
you
him a
got to
contender.
go through the Contender Series.
Yeah,
route
give him a
first.
Contender Series fight. And make it happen. I don't know. Really, I don't know. What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? They do also have an undefeated, flyweight champion there too in that promotion. I don't know. You got to do something. You got to start looking up. Looking out for some new talent to sign to the division to shake it up. Because right now, the way that it looks, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with Pantoja. I think he beats them all.
Do you think anybody would drop down, from bantamweight?
That's
That's a good
like,
question.
isn't that kind of what Cejudo did, right? Like,
Yeah.
Piotr Jan's small, and he's a fucking
yeah.
monster.
I mean,
Well, Piotr Jan's about to fight for a title, essentially.
then-
They're close enough to it.
close to it. Yeah.
I don't know who else.
I don't know. That's a great question because we have seen that happen in the past. But
I mean,
like-
Cejudo's still active.
yeah, technically, right? But
Yeah.
I don't. At his age, there ain't no way he's making that type cut again.
Hell no. He looks fat. He looks like he was sipping.
I think before Pantoja fights again, you give, like you make a Tatsui Taira, maybe you do Tatsui Taira Kai Asakura, you do a Asu Amabaya versus Kai Kara France. You give, maybe I don't know, somebody, Brandon Royval, like you gotta start shaking it up a little bit. Give some of the prospects that you do have a top ranked fight. And
Hold
then,
on. Well, I
and
think
then
we're
maybe you'll have a number one contender.
overthinking. I think we're not thinking about some factors here too in this division. Kai Asakura he came into the UFC unranked, and he lost in the second round unranked. Where the fuck
Yep.
is he going to land on the rankings?
Yeah,
They're not just going to give him a top 5 fight if they put him at number 12.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somewhere around that 9 to 12 range.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Like, does he beat, like, yeah.
So maybe we're really like over, like, giving him too much credit.
We could be. Yeah, we could be.
I mean,
we'll see.
He did get beat in the second round.
Right.
All of those guys in the top 5, essentially, or top 3, have went 5 rounds or more with Pantoja.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
yeah, we might be giving him too much credit. He looked good in that first round, but, I mean, ultimately it ends in the second. Pantoja gets a performance of the night.
Dominant.
Which is so deserved. All right, well, we just spent so long talking about flyweights again. I feel like we talk about flyweights more than anybody else on the planet.
Good.
That's why we're unique, bro.
Yeah. So your co-main event was, undefeated Shavkhat Rakhmonov versus undefeated Ian Garry. Shavkhat wins. Excuse me. Shavkhat wins. Shavkhat wins a decision against Ian Machado-Garry. So Shavkhat moves to 19-0, but loses his 100% finish rate.
Sure did.
Ian Garry obviously took this fight on semi-short notice, so only a few weeks. He was supposed to headline UFC Tampa next week. So he was in camp just for Joaquin Buckley, not Shavkhat, which is crazy because two totally different. I mean, it's different levels.
I got to give man. Ian Garry, I got to give major respect to. He
absolutely
is a dog, man. You can say what you want about him, but dude, he probably is going to be a future champ one day. Like, I think anyone can bet on that. He's young. He has all the tools, dude. Like, I'm not going to lie. His takedown defense was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
His submission defense was amazing. I never saw that Ian Garry before, and he's transforming into like a fucking hybrid UFC fighter. It's amazing to watch.
I think it's safe to say I was more impressed with Ian Garry than I was with Shavkhat last night.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody was.
Yeah, like I understand that sentiment. I kind of agree. Like, I would have thought, although, we did talk about the possibility of Ian Garry winning, Shavkhat kind of had this reputation of being the boogeyman, right?
Yep.
So on the flip side, you kind of expected Shavkhat to go out there and do what he's always done and get a finish. And I mean, truthfully, Ian Garry was closer to a finish than Shavkhat was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Right? That submission that he had Shavkhat in was very close. That rear naked choke was extremely close. He was closer to a finish than Shavkhat ever got. But, Shavkhat was too much. Like, in all of the exchanges, Shavkhat had just a slight edge.
Yep.
Right? Like, he was touching him on the feet, but just barely. Like, just a little bit more. Grappling, the clinches against the fence that, people highly criticized or whatever. But, Shavkhat just did just enough to be better than Ian Garry a little bit. Right? Just a little bit. And he won the decision. I mean, it's a good fight for Shavkhat. I think, you know what I mean? This was by far his most high-profile fight he's ever had. It's not even close. Right? Like, there was more hype on this fight than anything he's ever even been a part of. Ian Garry's kind of lived with the hype and the spotlight now for a little while. Shavkhat, not really. He's kind of flown under the radar.
What I hate, though, is now he has to win 2 more to get a title shot again.
Ian Garry.
Title shot, yeah.
Because
that's obviously Belal's going to fight Shavkhat.
Yes.
And then Leon's going to fight Jack Della likely, and the winner of that will fight the winner of Belal and Shavkhat. And then Ian Garry's going to have to probably fight Sean Brady.
I was looking at that last night, and I was thinking that, like, you give him Sean Brady. He wants
you
Colby.
Give him the winner of Colby and Buckley.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fight he was supposed to fight Buckley anyway. Do you give him, the winner of that? I don't
Then,
like.
what do you do with Sean Brady though?
I don't know what Sean Brady's doing. Like Sean
Yeah.
Brady seems incredibly too inactive for a division that has all these moving parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He gets
Like-
overlooked easily.
Like he got beat by Belal, right? And then he submits Kevin Gastelum, and then he beat Gilbert Burns. Like good wins. But
He just fought in December or September.
yeah, true. Right.
So
but then
less than
before
three-
that,
Literally
it
3
was
months ago today. Or
yeah,
yesterday.
but then before that it was December of 23.
sure. And then
Right,
before
9
it was
months.
October of 2022. So
Right, over a year after he lost to Belal Muhammad. So, I just think there's too many moving pieces right now at welterweight. Like, he needs to get in there. And if you remember that fight against Gilbert Burns, dude, he looked great. Like,
He did.
he was winning grappling exchanges against Gilbert Burns, which is
Yeah, he
not
was.
an easy task.
He looked awesome, man. He just needs
So-
to be way more active.
I
I mean,
think that,
Leon and Jack Della is still not announced yet. I mean,
yeah, that was speculation,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
still
that's
not announced.
you got to be careful, with that MMA Twitter speculation fights, dude. 'Cause
dude.
very few of them
Trust,
hold
like,
any
very
weight at all.
rare. I very rarely trust certain people. So
Yeah.
it's only
But-
very select few that I'll trust.
So we'll see. I mean, Ian Gary, I still think his stock went up. I think people like ragged on Ian Gary so hard for, the last year or two with the stuff with his wife and whatever.
I think
but
he should be the number 4 seat. The number 4. I think Jack
I'd-
Della, Sean Brady. I think Jack Della should be 5. Sean Brady should be 6. Gary should be 4.
there's no way that his ranking goes up after
I
a
know.
loss. But I mean,
Ah.
Shavkhat is gonna
he
you
may
know-
move up over Colby Covington.
because they're gonna fight next week. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Colby
but
fights
fighting up and
Saturday
fighting back is
for sure. Yeah, and Colby, avoided the fight with Ian Gary like a fucking plague.
for sure.
So
He-
I do think in all the criticism that people gave Ian Gary, I think him just taking this fight alone earned
Yeah,
him
for-
ridiculous amounts of respect.
Oh yeah, man. He had so much class too. In defeat, he had class, and people probably weren't expecting that, man. He was like super respectful. He said, "I'll see you guys again," because he will.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I was
Belal
in-
looked like a clown.
Yeah, so
Bro.
all right, so since you mentioned it already on this podcast episode, but now let's talk about this because now we're on this episode. So fight ends. They're talking to Shavkhat. Joe Rogan's talking to Shavkhat. Really, the thing that I found interesting about this whole face-off with Belal as well was Shavkhat was done talking, and then the translator said something to Shavkhat. Shavkhat says something to Joe, and then the translator translates and says, "Let's get Belal in here, do face-off."
Yeah.
It's like I think the translator told Shavkhat to
Shavkhat
call
do
him
it.
out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's just not like Shavkhat is not that guy.
Yeah,
He's
he
not,
made him look
no.
like a bitch.
He's not the guy. Yeah. So then Belal jumps over the fence. Joe Rogan makes a hilarious comment, right?
I know he did. Yeah.
Let him
about-
through security. They don't even
Yeah,
know he's the champ.
Security doesn't even know he's the champ.
Yeah. God.
To which then Conor McGregor goes live on Twitter Spaces and rants for
hilarious.
God knows how long and just continues to say he's the champ. They don't know who he is.
dude.
They don't even know who the fucking champion is.
Oh man.
So I mean, dude, like, okay, so most underrated fighter in the UFC right now, Alexandre Pantoja. I would have to say that Belal Muhammad is by far the most disrespected champion.
And he's a good sport about it, man. That one thing
He-
about him,
he is,
he's a good
yeah.
sport. And he's
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
he has
what's
no
up?
choice but to be. dude.
He's like a giddy hype dude. He's like, yeah, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And it's
He-
so
he
One,
does-
funny.
he's literally one loss. He could have been
So
one loss
corny.
away from being cut from the UFC because that's how much nobody likes him. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I don't like I
That
really
sucks.
don't understand why people do like him. I mean I can, like we've had conversations about fighters we don't like and whatever, and like I can look at certain styles and we talked about this last night even with like Khabib and Islam and like dude, those guys are dominant. They get finishes.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Belal is like the boring decision king, man. I just like, why would you ever want your main event on a pay-per-view to be a guy that you know isn't going to get a finish?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Like,
terrible.
So
Fucking terrible.
I think he's the most disrespected fighter in the UFC right now. I think it's deserved. I think he is probably the least exciting UFC champion, the least interesting UFC champion. He plays this heel role pretty well, but like still, it's just not like, it's almost like too gimmicky. It's like the Colby Covington thing for me at this point. Like when Colby started his bullshit, it was like kind of new and exciting, and he's playing this character and it's funny, you know. And now Belal's like everybody hates him, and he's like overly leaning into this heel character, and it's just like, nah, dude, we just really don't fuck with you. Like, you fucking suck.
Yeah,
Like,
you're just,
you know,
yeah.
the UFC would be better if he wasn't in it. I mean,
Bread
just that's the
looking ass.
truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so that was your co-main event. I think it lived up to the hype. Like, you know, you didn't get a finish like, you know, you may have thought between these two guys, but at that, I mean, dude, what a high level. Like, you can't make a single mistake in that fight.
No.
You know, like, you couldn't afford to make a single mistake against either one of those guys, and it showed in the way that they approached it, the way that they fought. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Butthole was clenched. Just fucking.
And it hit the parlay.
Yeah, over
It
2.5
hit the parlay.
rounds.
Yeah.
Had a nice parlay win last night. That the last leg was our co-main event. So shout out to them guys for going to decision.
Yes, sir.
Your heavyweight fight that, you know, it's I mean, you know,
Neither one of those guys deserve to fight for a title.
I mean, is Volkov getting that much better, or is Cyril Gane just overrated? I don't know.
I think a little of both.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I
thinking
think
about it all morning.
Volkov beat the brakes off Sergey. We had the same thing. Was Sergey even ever really that good? Like,
Yeah.
we had the same. I do think Volkov has gotten better, but I do think like Gane is just not that good. Like, he knocks out Tai Tuivasa. You know, okay, but like Tai Tuivasa is just a stand and bang. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
a heavyweight that, you know, goes against anybody with any real mixed martial arts skill gets beat, right? So Gane knocks him out, great, but like, yeah, I do think he's overrated. You know, Cyril Gane obviously gets the decision win, very controversial decision win over Paddy Pimblikoff, as they were calling him last night.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. Alexander Volkov, who in his last fight, if you remember, they were combing his hair.
Yeah.
This dude comes out freaking cornrows.
Right in the corner last fight against Sergey, his cornerman was combing his hair, like doing his comb over, fixing it in the corner, and then last night he comes out with cornrows,
Hilarious.
which is just awesome.
You guys think he won? You guys think Volkov won? I do.
I do.
I do, of course, yeah. I
crazy,
don't
man.
I don't know.
That was a bad decision.
That was a terrible decision, bro.
It was a close fight.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the most egregious decision I've ever seen. Right? Like, we've seen.
You know it's a
more-
bad decision when the fighter thought he like walks
Yeah,
out of the
knew he
octagon
lost.
I
because he knew
know
he
that's
lost.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the worst decision we've ever seen. I think we've seen worse decisions. But, you know, it was pretty clear to everybody there, the commentary team, Cyril Gane himself, right, that Volkov won that fight. But, you know, whatever. Judges are judges. You can't do shit about it. Dana talked about that last night at the press conference as well. They asked him, you know, are there, you know, repercussions? Like, what do we do here? Is there, like, if it's the same guy all the time that with controversial decisions, is there any way, you know, we can, you know, send him to get retrained, or like, what do we do here? You know? And it doesn't seem like as of now there's like a clear, like, this is what we're doing. This is what we need to do. So I don't know, man. I had Volkov winning that for sure. But and again, I agree with you though. Neither one of these guys make any real noise in the heavyweight division.
Nope.
You know, top 5 gatekeepers for sure,
Oh shit.
but no Like, you're not beating Tom. You're not fighting John Jones. Nobody wants to see Volkov against John Jones.
Fuck
You know what I
no.
mean? Like, nobody wants to, so I don't know. We'll see what happens after John Jones, Tom Aspinall. We'll see. We'll reevaluate featherweight middle of next year, probably after that. Then you had, all right, so, man, Bryce Mitchell, Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie gets knocked the fuck out by he jumps guard for like the third time. Bryce stuck his forearm in, put a frame in
Beautiful.
while he was still carrying it, slammed him on the fucking ground, and then just smashed him. Two elbows, KO. Yeah, Kron Gracie's done. Dana pretty much said that last night as well. You'll never see Kron Gracie in the UFC again.
I don't think so.
I want to know, when's the last time someone's knocked somebody out from ground and pound and being in someone's guard? It's been a minute since I fucking seen that, man.
It feels
It's
like
been a long time. People don't do it anymore.
Dude, that's interesting because it does feel like that should be such a normal occurrence.
It used to be ground and pound, elbows, John Jones, like everybody. That was the thing, and everyone's scared to get caught in an armbar now, and it's just like,
yeah.
I do think the game has changed, right? Like there's way more high level grapplers. There's way more high level strikers. You have guys that with way better takedown defense, that aren't gonna get.
Dude, everybody's
down.
a black belt now.
They hand out black belts now, but these guys anybody can get you an armbar,
Yeah.
Like Dustin Poirier is a black belt, dude. Like,
yeah. What are you saying, dude?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, when the hell has he ever been known as a fucking Brazilian, like a jiu-jitsu guy?
Yeah, he jumps the guillotine, but he's never actually submitted anybody with it. So
he's a black belt.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Mitchell, a solid win for Bryce Mitchell, man.
Yeah,
solid win for Bryce Mitchell. I mean,
and the only person that's going to make America great again,
Jesus
Christ. Jesus Christ.
It's funny. They asked him in his post-fight interview or post-fight press conference, Dana White. They said, "Did Dana White say something to you?" Because I don't know if you guys saw this, but leading up to the fight, Bryce Mitchell went on a rant about how he doesn't believe in seatbelts. And so I guess Dana White said something to him about seatbelts in the octagon after his win last night. They asked Bryce Mitchell, "What did Dana White tell you about seatbelts?" Well, he came up to me. He said, "Fuck him." So,
is that what he said? Fuck seatbelts?
Yeah. So we can confirm Dana White is also anti-seatbelt. Bryce Mitchell, anti-seatbelt, pro-flat earth, pro-Jesus Christ.
There we go.
I mean, dude, yeah, Bryce Mitchell, never fails to entertain. What a fucking just ridiculous, bro.
Do you remember trying to apologize to Joe Rogan? Joe was like, "You've already done that."
You already did it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
You've already done that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah,
I know. So I mean, but dude, shout out to Bryce Mitchell. I don't know, what you kind of give him next. I think everybody that I'm looking at in the top 15 against him is scary. You're not giving him Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy beats the brakes off of him. Maybe a Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar coming off a loss. Maybe give him Calvin Kattar.
It's a good fight.
I don't think he really competes with a dude like Aljamain. I think he gets ragdolled.
Yeah.
You're not going to give him Josh Emmett again, right? Josh Emmett already murdered him. I mean, Dan Ige, that's fighting backwards for him. I don't think you give him Dan Ige, even though I think he beat Dan Ige, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Bryce Mitchell already beat Dan Ige. I don't know what you do next with him. If I had to guess, his next fight probably be on a fight night sometime next year against another contender maybe, and it'll be a lot of fun regardless of who it is against or what the outcome is. I can imagine that it's going to make for some viral moments, that's for sure.
It is, man.
Started your main card, Nate Landwehr, Duho Choi. I think the dick riding fanboys of Nate the Train can finally just stop. The dude's not good. Let's stop acting like he's fucking good. What else is there to
Trevor
say?
Peak so fast.
I mean, Dude, Nate's been in the game for a minute, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I guess there was some hype behind it. I get it.
He's had some exciting fights, kind of one of those stand and bang guys, like just
Mhm.
fucking blood all over his face, but like, dude, that doesn't, like, I'm tired of us, like, getting these guys that fight like that, and then it builds up all this hype, and then we talk about them like they're
good.
like they're fucking good. He's
Like,
not.
if your
dude.
face is bleeding,
Yeah, it means he
you're
got
not
beat
good.
up.
It means you
Right.
got beat up.
Yeah. Duho Choi just dominated him last night. Duho Choi, Korean. Another thing, like I'm gonna keep bringing it up, man, because a lot was talked about. But Dana White this coming weekend is doing a virtual looking for a fight. Like Dana White's looking for a fight that he does at Korean Zombies event in Korea.
Oh, he's doing it virtually now. I thought he wasn't
Yeah.
going to be there, and because
So-
of some shit or something.
Yeah, the global security told him he shouldn't go, so he canceled the trip. He wasn't going to go, but now he's going to do something somehow virtually, whatever. But cool, right? And then they're planning on when they can 2025 also doing a UFC event in Korea, and having. Which would be sick, dude. You get some guy, Korean Zombie. You get some of these guys, Duho Choi. There's a bunch of them. You get some of them involved. That would be a really fun fight night, in my opinion. I think everybody loves Korean Zombie, dude. So his retirement's still one of the best ever. I think if you can get him involved in any way, you're gonna have the fans interested. Anthony Smith retired.
Yeah.
Probably, most likely, 98%, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying the Dominic Reyes shit either. Like, I just think this was a, kind of a who cares top 15 light heavyweight fight.
I will say this. I respect Dominic Reyes for what he said after the fight, and he was just like, I'm a fighter. Like, I saw Anthony, he said Anthony Smith, when they got in there, told him, he put his hands down and told him to hit him. He said, just hit me. Like, he needed to feel a punch. Like, because he was so mentally broken.
Yeah, he's
And
not
Oh, what
right.
a pussy. I'm tired of his fucking mental bullshit. Sack up.
Yeah, he
Well,
was not
to
right.
be fair,
so-
he did lose, like, his best friend / corner man, like, a week before this fight.
Yeah, so he
Just punch me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He
I
thought
don't
about
care.
pulling out. At least he didn't pull out, right? He thought about pulling out. He competed anyway. I guess he deserves some kind of props for that. But people have been calling for him to end his career well before this.
Oh, yeah.
He's always got something,
3 to 4
man.
fights ago, dude.
Yeah.
Always
So, I
got
mean,
something.
and Dominic Reyes, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. The only reason people have this hype over Dominic Reyes is all the John Jones haters that
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
still-
greatest victory is losing to John Jones.
Yeah, and people say that he won. So, like, that's the thing. Like, Dominic Reyes still has all this hype around him because he lost to John Jones. It's weird. Like, stop, dude. Just stop. Stop hyping up guys that aren't good. Stop talking about them like they should be fucking champions or top 5 fighters. Like, enough. Enough of the
yeah.
bullshit.
I agree.
Dominic Reyes at 12 is right where he belongs. I don't even think he moves up. I don't think he moves up at all.
Yeah, he got knocked out by Ryan Spann. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, dude.
enough said, dude.
Yeah.
Vicente Luque, performance of the night,
Darce, baby.
chokes out Themba Grimbo unconscious with the Darce choke.
2 unconscious chokeouts last night.
I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Look, dude. Good win by Luque, bro.
Huge
Great
win.
fucking win. He was a slight underdog. I don't think many people picked him to win, but hey, man, he gripped that thing up and it
Good
was
call
over.
out, too, in my opinion, afterwards. Calling out Jorge Masvidal's return fight. I mean, Vincent Luque has nothing to prove. He has nothing to, really, grind for. He's probably not going to ever be up there as a top 5 welterweight again, top 3 welterweight. So why not call out a big name and get a big fight for money and towards the end of his career?
Do you think he's a big enough name for Masvidal to come back and fight?
Yeah, absolutely.
You think?
Yeah.
Because I don't think so. I feel like Donald Cerrone trying to come back off doing steroids and shit. like I feel like Cerrone come back, Masvidal come back. That's like the big name fight that you would make.
I mean, it's not like Vicente Luque has lost. Like his losses come from like
I'm not arguing
names,
against
you know?
against his resume or the fact that he deserves to fight Like I'm not saying. I'm just saying like, does like with Masvidal, right? The former BMF, one of the fastest knockout in UFC. Like this is not really a guy that. I mean, it's a big name guy, right? So you're kind of
he's
looking
got to win
at,
over the champ. I mean,
yeah, you're looking at. I don't know. I think you're looking at. I feel like you're looking at a bigger name for Masvidal than Vicente Luque. That's all.
I don't even know why Masvidal's coming back, dude. He's 40 years old.
I don't know if he is.
Yeah.
This is all speculatory. Masvidal just wants to. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing necessarily in the works. I mean, this is all speculative bullshit at this point. Who knows? Either way, good win, Vicente Luque. Performance tonight bonus for him. First round submission, under a minute. Themba Gorimbo. Movsar Evloev, decision over Aljo. Good decision? What do you think?
fair,
Close fight.
close fight.
Yeah, I
Close
do think.
enough, yeah.
I will say
think
I
he
was
won.
more. This fight blew my expectations
Oh,
by
absolutely.
a long shot.
It says a lot,
Absolutely.
man. It says a lot.
So,
Absolutely. This was one that, we argued should be on the main event or should be on the main card, right? You have two top 10 featherweights, a top 5 featherweight that could be fighting for a title next on the prelims. Just because, I mean, really, it was expected to be potentially just a terribly boring fight. Their wrestling scrambles were something I've very rarely, if ever, seen in MMA.
Yep.
I mean, that was the most high-level wrestling in MMA we have seen in a long time.
10 total takedowns, bro. And it was not like it was 10 against 0. It was like
No.
6-5, 6-4, some shit like that.
The scrambles, dude, the fucking
nasty.
oh my god. If you like wrestling, like we were watching last year, we were talking about it. Dude, if you like wrestling, that is a fucking fight to watch for MMA. I mean, that was, and as far as the decision goes, I think Movsar did enough to win it. I think when you look at what they each did, I think Movsar did more damage. Movsar had him in more dangerous positions. It was close fight, but I totally get, Movsar getting the nod. I'm okay with it. It sucks for Aljo. I hate Movsar more than, I mean, it's like Movsar Belal probably for me, 1-2 most hated fighters. But also, I may have gained a little respect for Movsar last night.
I did.
Yeah, he made it exciting,
He did. He did not make it boring.
right?
But I also feel like now that I think about it, it's like I almost feel like the reason why his past fights have been kind of boring is because he was just that
Dominating
good.
guys,
Yeah. He was just
dominating
that
guys on the
good.
ground. Yeah, it's a boring style though, right? So
But when you pair it up against someone who's equally as good as you in this,
on the
it
ground
makes
like
it
that,
exciting,
right? Yeah, for sure.
Almost
So-
undefeated.
I mean, he's undefeated, 19-0, I think, at this point. They were talking about potentially with him a title shot, but I still don't think I see that happening right away. Like fucking make him fight Diego Lopez again. Let Diego Lopez get
Yeah.
that one back, right?
Please.
Like he won a decision against Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez took on super short notice. Let Diego Lopez get that shit back. Volk's going to probably fight Topuria for a title next. That seems to be like the notion, the same kind of thing we're getting with Strickland Duplessis. Like it seems like Volk is going to get that rematch. That kind of leaves Diego Lopez there. I think you give Movsar Diego Lopez, winner fights next.
Yep.
That's what I think. Right?
I like
So
that.
you give Volk title fight rematch against Topuria. Diego Lopez Movsar number 1 contender fight, winner fights winner. That's it, dude. Easy. Put me in that matchmaking meeting. I think we got this under control.
I think we're good.
Makes the most sense. Rest of the card, Randy Brown buying battle, not what we thought it was going to be.
Nope.
Not what we thought it was going to be. Brian Battle did what he had to do to get a win, but I think his stock went down a little bit last night as well. Eric Anders stops Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
Okay, that could have gone either way. Josh Van beat the fucking brakes off Cody Durden.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, just absolutely beat the fucking shit out of him. Man, I don't know. I mean,
Chase
Chiesa,
Hooper growing every
Oh
fight.
yeah, dude.
looking
Okay,
solid.
That's
so
early
yeah,
prelims, yeah.
yeah. So let's just, Chiesa submits Max Griffin. Fine, whatever. Max Griffin does not look great. Like, he couldn't even get his striking going. Chiesa just took advantage of him. Eventually got him on the ground in the last round. Submitted him. Chase Hooper, right? Performs for the night. Deserved. Submits Clay Guida. Chase Hooper was the biggest favorite on the card.
And that's how you perform as the biggest favorite. I'm sick of these
Facts.
big favorites not performing as big favorites. And Chase
Bo
Hooper
Nickel. Bo Nickel.
Yeah.
Stop.
Just call it what it
Yeah.
is, dude. You know what you're trying to say. Just say it.
No, I'm not.
Say it, dude.
Not
Say it with
what
your
I was
chest.
trying to say.
Chase
Not
Hooper.
at all what I was trying to
Say
say.
with your chest, Joel.
Yeah. Chase Hooper submits Clay Guida. Yeah, dude, Chase Hooper, fuck. I mean, he made his UFC debut. He was 20 years old. He looked like a child. Dude, this guy looks legit. I mean, and he's still
legit,
super
man.
young. He's 25.
I was
Like,
about to say, to be fair, he's still a child.
he's 25 years old, man. He's
growing every
really
day.
starting to look really well-rounded. His ground game is still elite.
Oh, yeah,
It
it's
is
getting
still
better, too.
fucking elite, man. And now that his striking's starting to come along and catch up to it, yeah, I like it, dude. That's exciting. Chase Hooper performs tonight, deserved. Clay Guida. We started the night off with 3 finishes, right? Your first fight of the night, Kennedy and Chekuwu defeats Brzezinski by KO in the first round. Kennedy looks good at heavyweight too, right? Like
Yeah, but
Kennedy,
he's gonna get knocked out, I think.
he looked good last night. He's young guy, still, prospect, up and comer, newer to heavyweight, right? Like, he was fighting at light heavyweight for a while, but yeah, man, I don't know. Look, good. He performs tonight again. 50K Kennedy, baby, getting it done.
50K Kennedy, get that bread.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, yeah, we're talking about early prelim fights, right? So, like, we're not going to compare this guy like, oh, give him Tom Aspinall. Come on, But I'm just saying, he looks much better at heavyweight. He looks good. He's obviously beating prospects easily. I would assume that you're going to give him ranked competition soon. And
Give
at
him
heavyweight,
Nick Parsons.
yeah, at heavyweight, that's not saying a whole lot, right? I mean, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I mean, there are some big names there and some fights that would be really interesting. Like, Waldo Cortez Acosta is like kind of a gritty, dangerous heavyweight.
Yep.
Oh, it is.
That would be kind of an iffy fight, I think, for Kennedy. Mick Parkin, I think he beats Mick Parkin. I think he beats Shamil Gaziev, right? So, like, then you're getting into, like, the Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, Rosenstruck. That might be, I think he can beat the Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, but I think you get any higher than that, you're jumping a little bit too far ahead. Fuck it, give him a ranked guy. Give him Waldo Cortez Acosta, and I don't know, see how good he really is, because I think that dude's way more well-rounded than Kennedy is at this moment. So we'll see. And even him, he was a minus 600 favorite. He performed like a minus 600 favorite. You know what I mean? So overall, give me went through the entire card, 1 through 10. How do you rate the card? Nikki, you go first.
Woo! Damn. I give it a 7.8. You guys like that?
7.8?
Yeah, Joel, don't steal it again, bro. You always steal my rating.
No, I'm actually a little bit higher than you.
Oh no,
Ooh.
I'm very
Joel's a hype
rough.
beast. Joel's a hype beast. He's not hard on anybody, dude. Joel's a hype beast.
No bullshit. I'm pretty hard on cards sometimes, dude.
He
I
gets
rank
caught in
low.
the moment, dude. Joel's recency bias, dude.
I'm gonna give it an 8.1.
Oh,
oh,
you're gonna break it into the 8s?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna go 7-2.
oh shit.
8.1.
I'm gonna go
I was
7-2.
There's just
I-
there's a lot of finishes. There's a lot of good fights. Like I think it deserves to be high.
The main event, the co-main, fantastic. What fucks it up for me is like whether he finished him or not. Bryce Mitchell, Conor Gracie's just a ridiculous fight. Nate Landwehr, Duho Choi, ridiculous fight. Reyes
For
Smith,
real.
ridiculous fight. Luque Garimbo, great finish, but I mean, ridiculous. Who gives a fuck? Movsar, Aljo, great, right?
Yeah.
That helps. Brian Battle, Randy Brown, not great. I mean, now your early prelims, Weidman, Anders, not great. Durden, smoked. Chiasmax, great. Like, it had some moments, but I think, 7-2 for me. 7-2.
Okay.
There's too many holes in this thing. 8 is crazy. 8-1? 8-1 is crazy, dude.
8-1. Good fight.
8-1 is fucking crazy. Well, anything else before we wrap this thing up?
I want to talk to you guys before we get off about end of the year. I know we're coming up on end of the year.
Yep.
We got Christmas coming up.
Yep.
We got December 14th is the last fight night of the year.
Yep.
Are we doing one last episode after next week as like a end of the year episode where we rank all of the pay-per-views of the year, recap the year?
I think
all that fun jazz.
my opinion would be 2 episodes to close out the year after this.
Yep.
I think we do a talk about Tampa. I think it's a good enough card to talk about a full recap. And then I think end of the year we do a 2024 recap.
I agree.
I like that. I like that for sure.
I'm with it.
If you're watching, man, let us know in the comments, kind of what you would want to see. Like, 2024, I think, was the best year the UFC's had to date.
One of them, if not
Fucking
the best,
insane year, bro.
I don't think-
Insane year.
Yeah, I think, and Dana said, yeah, we do that every year. Every year you say it's the best year, but I mean, this year, like, just the fights, the moments, the champions, everything we saw, I think 2024 has been the best year the UFC's ever had. They're crushing it numbers-wise, too, like financially. I just think it's not even close. So, yeah, we got to do a 2024 recap. Next week, UFC Tampa, Joaquin Buckley, Kobe Covington. We'll definitely be tuned into that. We can do a recap episode following
Let's go
that.
around the room real quick before we finish.
Main event.
Buckley or Colby? Colby, who you got?
Buckley. I'm not picking Colby.
I got Buckley too. I got Buckley by finish.
Buckley all day. I think Colby sucks.
And it is to note. I know we're talking. This is kind of ties into this episode. I know we're gonna end it. We can end it right here if you want.
Yep.
But Manel Cape Bruno Silva is on this card as well.
Yeah, it
If
is.
Manel Cape wins, that is a very good chance for the UFC to put him versus Asakura against each other. Number 3.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's the rematch, right?
I like it. Yeah.
So
Yeah. True. They fought in Ryzen twice.
On
They're
Ryzen
1-1
twice.
against each other in
against each
Ryzen.
other in Ryzen.
I love it, Joel.
Yeah.
Great pull, baby. Great pull.
Yeah,
Listen,
baby.
boys, enjoy your Sunday. Video will be up very shortly. Look out for that. If you're not already listening to this, subscribe to the channel. Like this video, hit the thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought the best moments were from UFC 310. If you're not, make sure you follow us over the Octagon podcast on all our social medias. The link is in the description of this video, in the description of our bios. You can find us everywhere. On that note, boys, we're fucking out of here. Oh, nice hat, baby boy.